Hello everyone, I'm Michael, your emo best friend, and welcome to the best of emo, pop punk, and punk rock of 2023. It's been a great year for music. We have a little bit of everything for you tonight. The angst of emo, the high energy of pop punk, the rebelliousness of punk rock. These aren't just a collection of songs, these are stories and anthems. So tighten those laces on your Converse, adjust your band tees, and let's jump into the best emo, pop punk, and punk rock of the year. Who wrote this? AI? Jokes aside, we had a lot of great releases this year, and I'm going to go over my top albums of the year. The list is going to be in alphabetical order, except for the last album, which I think is the best album of 2023 and my personal favorite. First up on the list is Bully's Lucky For You, and Bully's been putting out great rock music for a number of years now, but with this album, Lucky For You, I think this is the best rock album of the year. The album is super grungy, you can hear the 90s all over this record. Bully gets better with every release, but with this one, Lucky For You might be the most complete version of Bully we've ever gotten. Jeff Rosenstock's Hell Mode. Jeff Rosenstock is a modern-day punk rock legend, and he further solidifies that with every album that he releases, and this one is no different. My favorite song on the album is Doubt. It's one of the more slower songs on the album. It definitely picks up at the end, but I love a good punk rock album that takes a break from all the fast, intense music and lets the listener breathe for a second, and we get that nice, slow song. I mean, it's Jeff Rosenstock. What else can I say? He's a legend. Knockdown, One-Way Ticket. This is like the best mix of 90s fat wreck pop punk, some modern pop punk, a little bit of emo as well. Some songs are so fast on this record that it almost reminds me of Rufio. If you like pop punk, punk rock, or emo, you have to listen to this one. Koyo, Would You Miss It? Pop punk mixed with hardcore, or hardcore mixed with pop punk. Mauve, About the Weather. I've said it before on the channel, there is no rule that you have to be from the Midwest to be a Midwest emo band. This album has everything Midwest emo is known for, but the band turns up the catchiness just a little bit. The chorus on Oh My God is great. I love the guitars during that instrumental part of Drive Thru, rock and roll. If you like emo, this is one that you need to check out. Military Guns, Life Under the Gun. I mean, this is the best hardcore album of the year, right? That opening punch of Do It Faster and Very High, I mean, come on, it doesn't get any better than that. This album is full of bangers, and when you listen to it, all you want to do is headbang and mosh around in your bedroom. As I sit and wait for you. I love No Bro's album. I love when punk rock just wants to have fun. You could take a break from all the problems in the world and just party. No Bro gives us an anthemic, Riot Girl, Ramones core love letter of an album. It's fast, catchy, and most importantly, it shreds. Normies, What Planet Are These Guys From? I love this record. It's a great mix of 90s pop punk and like early 2010s pop punk. I hope this isn't the last thing we get from this band. Origami Angels, The Brightest Days. Origami Angel always has a unique sound, and man, if this album came out when I was in high school, I probably would have an Origami Angel tattoo. It isn't all lovey-dovey breakup songs on this album. The band does dive into some more serious topics on their song My PG Country Summer. The song Second Best Friend has been stuck in my head ever since I went back to work on this video and I listened to the album all over again. It's been stuck in my head for weeks. It's probably my favorite song on the album. I always look forward to when Origami Angel puts out new music. It always seems to me like they're trying to push emo and pop punk forward and see what you can get away with in those genres. Restraining Order's Locked in Time. This is probably the best pure punk rock release of the year. This isn't pop punk or gutter punk or crust punk or skate punk. This is punk rock. And maybe hardcore punk. Did we ever get a reason why the band calls themselves Shit Present? Jokes aside, this is a great punk rock album. It deals with the pain and frustration of dealing with mental health. Unraveling and Voices in Your Head are painfully intense, raw, emotional songs. Some of the best stuff that I've heard this year. Sincere Engineer, Cheap Grills. The band has been giving us great punk rock for years, and this album is no different. Fireplace and California King are instantly stuck in your head, and then Blind Robin, you know I'm a sucker for a punk rock album that ends with an acoustic song. Sincere Engineer, a great punk rock band, and this is a great addition to their catalog. Spanish love songs, No Joy, and look, nobody likes change. I don't like change. You don't like change. And honestly, I didn't really enjoy this album the first time I heard it, but I'm glad I gave it a second chance. It's one of the year's best. The same Spanish love songs that you love are on this album, I promise you. I love when a band kind of mixes genres and nobody knows what to call it. I've seen this album called an indie album. I've seen it called a post-punk album. If you mean post-punk by this is an album from a punk band and the album isn't necessarily a punk rock album, then sure, I guess this is a post-punk indie album from Spanish love songs. Regardless, this is a great album, and if you're like me and listened to the album and then kind of dismissed it, please, my recommendation is to go ahead and give it another listen. I think you're going to fall in love with it. Spiritual Cramps' self-titled album. This album reminds me so much of the rock scene in like the 2000s. It's fast, energetic, catchy rock music, and you can't go wrong with that. On the outside, you might think this is just a fun rock and roll album, but the band does dive into some serious topics, but the songs are so catchy that you might miss it. This album fits and has a sound that is really missing from rock, and I'm glad that a band put this album out. It should be on like every rock radio station in the country. This is a great one. Taylor Acorn's Certified Depressant. This is one of the catchiest albums of the year. A great mix of nostalgic 2000s pop punk with modern pop punk. I talk a lot about the mainstream pop punk revival that's happening right now, and I think Taylor Acorn's sound fits right into that. I hope she blows up in the mainstream. Some of my favorite songs are Sticking Around, Certified Depressant, I Think I'm in Love. My favorite is Famous Last Words. Their songs are so catchy that they would make any elder emo sing along. Youth Fountain, Together in Loneliness. Ever since I heard the first note of Requiem, I knew it was going to be one of my favorite albums of the year. This is such a catchy album, but it also deals with a lot of serious topics, loneliness, mental health, depression, and you almost forget about that because the album is just so damn catchy. This is one of the year's best. And my favorite album of the year is the new album from Trophy Eyes. And the reason I'm not saying the full title of the album is because YouTube might suppress this video, and I want everyone to hear what I have to say about it and everyone to check out this album. When people say that pop punk is one-dimensional, show them this album. This is not only the best pop punk album of the year, but one of the best albums to come out in the pop punk scene in the last few years. The album sees the band deal with regret, looking back on past mistakes, and looking forward. The album has some absolute bangers. People Like You, Blue Eyed Boy, What Hurts the Most, Epilogue. The most powerful song on the album is Sean, and it's about a friend who takes their own life. It's such a powerful song that has stuck with me ever since I first heard it. This isn't your typical, fun, breakup, I got a crush, party pop punk album. The album closer, Epilogue, has the lyrics, and all I wanted was to make all of you proud. It's for you now, it's all for you now. My only regret is that you never had the chance to trade places with me and see yourself from where I stand. What a spectacular view that I had of you. What a beautiful sentiment, what beautiful lyrics from the band. If this is the last album from Trophy Eyes, they went out on top. That's my list. Let me know yours in the comments. Please like and share the video if you enjoyed it. It really helps me out. Subscribe if you haven't. Tell all your friends. And as always, thanks for watching. I don't know if you can see, but the skinny tie has a little anarchy symbol on it. And I definitely didn't just watch a YouTube video on how to tie a tie before I hit record.